So to add this route for this post request, I'll go back to my code here and add a new post route here when using Node Express by using app post. And then it's to /node. That's the path I defined here as a value for the hxpost attribute. So that's the route I want to add here. And then, of course, we'll have our default Express request handler, which must send back a response at some point. But before we do that, I, of course, want to extract the submitted data and then, for this dummy application here, add the submitted text to this HTMX knowledge array here. That's what I want to build in this basic demo app. So how do we get hold of the submitted data? Well, whenever you're triggering a non-GET request, like a POST request here, you're triggering a request that typically carries data, that has a request body. And HTMX will automatically set that request body for you, and it will set it based on the form for which this request is triggered, for example. Now, if you would be using this attribute on a paragraph, for example, and therefore it would be triggered whenever this paragraph is clicked, there therefore wouldn't be any value that would be sent along with the request. Though you could add one manually, but that's something we'll explore later. If you use it on a form, however, HTMX will make sure to gather all the data entered into the form by the user. In this case, this means it gathers the value that has been inserted into this one input field here, and it will put that into the body of the request and then send that request with that body, with that form data, to the backend. Now for that, the inputs that should be collected by HTMX should have this name attribute here, because it's then by this name attribute, or by the value you specified here for the name, by which you'll be able to extract the submitted data on the server. So you should set that when relying on HTMX to add the form data to the request. Now, in order to extract that form data on the backend here, I'll start by adding a new middleware so that Express actually parses the submitted data and makes it available on this request object that's received in the route handlers. And all we have to do for that here in this demo app is use this Express object, call URL encoded, this method here, and set extended to false. And by adding this middleware, Express.js will scan all incoming requests for data that's attached to them, for form data specifically, and then parse that data and make it available as a JavaScript object on that request object. And therefore, with this middleware added here, we can go to this post route and get the form data by simply accessing request.body. This body field is added by Express and will hold an object that has key value pairs, where every key is the name of an input and the value is the value entered by the user. So therefore here I can actually get my entered node by accessing request.body.node.node, because I chose a name of node here. If you have a different name, you must access the data differently. But that's how we should get access to the submitted data. And then here in this demo app, we can simply reach out to this HTMX knowledge array and then push or unshift to add it at the beginning, this new value, this entered node, into this array. So that will manipulate this array. And now we just must make sure that the site is re-rendered and reloaded.